This video is the best possible introduction and foundation to help you answer life's biggest questions. I want to help you to answer questions like, what happens after we die? Is there a God? What is the nature of such God? Is life governed by fate or free will? When we die, do we reincarnate, like they say in the East, or are we judged and sent to heaven or hell, like they say in the West? I'm here to answer those questions for you in this video series, Answers to Life's Biggest Questions. My name is Brent Michael Phillips. I am the founder and creator of the Awakening Dynamic System of Higher Consciousness. And I have devoted my life to finding answers to these questions. And I'm going to share them with you right here on this YouTube channel. So again, this video is an introduction and overview to get you ready for all the others. Because I started to record the others and I ended up doing this disclaimer at the start of all of them. I'm like, you know what? That's boring. Let's not do that. I'm going to give you all the background here explaining why we ask these questions, why I think I have the answers, etc. That way, when we get into the other videos in this series, we can go right into the content, right into the good stuff. So, why in the world should you believe that this guy on a YouTube video, and many of you may have heard of me before, maybe you heard me on the radio, saw me on TV, been to one of my events, but many of you have not. This YouTube channel, for many of you watching, is the first time you've ever heard of Brent Michael Phillips and Awakening Dynamics and all this stuff. Maybe you've never even heard of Awakening before. That's okay. I want to give to you right now why I'm giving you this information, where it came from, and how you can best use it. So let's start off with the elephant in the room. Hey, Brent, why in the world do you think you can answer life's biggest questions? Because these are things all of us focus on, right? We all think about this time to time. When you lose a loved one, it's natural to think, where are they? Can I still talk to them? How does this all work? I get it. I've been curious about this stuff my whole life. And I'm not going to bore you with my story. Just know that I started my life the first 32 years as a nerd. I thought I'd be an engineer my whole life, just like my father, my uncle, my grandfathers before me. But then my life went through a gigantic crisis. I ended up on permanent disability with severe chronic pain at 27 years old. And after a lot of drama and suffering and a couple near-death experiences, I met a healer. Her name was Terry. And she literally created a miracle for me when my arm, paralyzed by a surgery, instantly healed. That was in 2003. I immediately changed my life completely and decided I'm going to be a healer just like her. And that's what I've done. I've spent the last 20-some years understanding the world of energy healing, metaphysics, spirituality. Do I have all the answers? Of course not. Nobody does. Do not trust any human that insists they have all the answers. But I do think I found a few of them. And even when I can't offer you a complete answer, I can at least show you the way of thinking that will solve this problem and get you aimed in the right direction. So again, I have studied this stuff for the last 20 years. This has been my full-time job, to understand consciousness, energy healing, intuition, mind power, the nature of God and life and why we're here. And I'm going to lay it out for you in this series of videos. But first, again, I want to answer the big question, why should you believe me? The short answer is you shouldn't. Do not believe anything that I or anyone else, certainly on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, etc., anything on the internet says. No, terrible idea. Please be skeptical. I really want you to be skeptical. Break out your skepticism. Be difficult to convince, no problem. I'm not asking you to believe any of this. I'm not asking you to trust me that I have all the answers. No, not at all. All I'm saying is these are new perspectives, new ways of thinking that you might find really useful. And you may find, wow, maybe this actually does answer this question. Maybe this really does help me solve my problem. The challenge here is very similar to what Neale Donald Walsh went through when he wrote the series of books called Conversations with God. People will come up to him and say, hey, Neale, cool book. How in the world do I know you're actually talking to God? How do I know you're not talking to your neighbor or just blowing it out your butt? Great question. This is what he said, something like this. He said, you don't have to believe I'm talking with God, and that's fine. It's probably better if you don't. Instead, simply give the answers to the questions a chance. Don't believe it came from God. Just say, hey, maybe this is a new way of thinking, a new model, a new paradigm, a new perspective, and give it a chance. Because if it's the truth, and it fits you in your life and works and brings you forward, well then, it doesn't matter as much exactly where it came from now, does it? No. So that's what I'm going to ask of everyone here. You don't have to believe any of this just because I said so. But if you have an open mind, you'll find that the ways of thinking, the mental models, the abstractions, the problem solving, you'll find it fits. So please take it, apply it to your life. See if this fits for you. If it doesn't, that's okay. No worries. I'm not for everyone. I'm a little intense. I'm obsessed with the truth. Absolutely obsessed. And I've spent my life digging down to find it. I remember once my first healing teacher, Terry, the one that did the miracle with my elbow, asked me once, "Hey, Brent, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?" And I said, "Terry, I'm going all the way to the bottom, and I'm bringing a pick and a shovel and digging it deeper." So if that's you, if you're like me, this is the right place. I will give you what I think are the closest to correct answers to life's biggest questions that we humans can access over the course of this series. So please use it in the way that serves you. As they say in a 12-step group, take what you like and leave the rest. So lots more coming. We're going to get into the answers to life's biggest questions in just a few minutes. I want everyone to know also that a lot of this is covered in great detail in my downloadable program called 30 Days to Awakening. It's meant as a 30-day guided journey using a combination of lecture presentations as well as specially encoded binaural beats audios using a patent-pending technique to clear your subconscious blocks as you listen. And it is a near foolproof system for achieving spiritual awakening, which for most people will take 3, 4, maybe 5 lifetimes. And even if you're in the lifetime where you break through, we're looking at decades of work. I figured out how to do it in 30 days. So check it out. I'll put the link down in the description. If you want to go deeper, experience your own awakening, check it out. I also do a series of live webinars throughout the year called the Heal-a-thon. If you want to come meet me, ask some questions, have a live experience with me, those are great opportunities. So just to be clear, in this series, I'm going to lay out for you the best answers we humans have to life's biggest questions. Am I 100% sure that it's 100% correct? Of course not. That's impossible given the nature of the subject. That I love the scientific method. I'm a scientist by training. It's great stuff. But you see, we cannot apply the scientific method to these questions. For example, what happens after we die? Well, how do you design a scientific experiment? You'd have to kill someone and bring them back to life. I'm not sure there's any other way to know for sure. That's not really something we know how to do, at least not safely. So how do you do that? You can't go measure God. So we are limited here to theory and thought experiments and looking at downstream effects and seeing if that fits what we experience in our lives. So no, nobody can prove this with a high certainty. It's the nature of it. We cannot run the experiments necessary. So given that we cannot use the scientific method, we have to do the best we can. We have to look for the hallmarks of truth: elegance, simplicity, completeness, internal consistency. And I'm highly confident you go through this series, which you may have to do a couple times. This is deep stuff, people. Really deep stuff. It took me decades to learn this. Don't feel bad if it takes you more than 5 minutes to completely understand it. But these are, I think, at the minimum, aiming us in the right direction. And some of these questions, I'm pretty sure we actually have solved conclusively and decisively. So check it out. Have your own experience, see if it resonates with you. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you want to take it deeper, head over to my website at awakeningdynamics.com and hop on one of my live webinars or book a private session, and I'm happy to go deep into this stuff with you. So go enjoy the rest of the series. We got a lot of cool stuff, including video number 2, which is all about, is there a God? And if so, what is the nature of this God? I am Brent Phillips signing off for now, and until next time, please take care and namaste.